Low key, maybe high key, depending on who I'm talking to. Windbreaker might be trash, if not mid, because it just doesn't make sense. Whether you call them Yankees, bad boys, delinquents, antisocial, or outcasts, you already have an image in your head when it comes to these type of characters. People who just don't fit in with the normal group, which is why usually when the delinquent series, sometimes, usually, the underlying theme under the mask of violence is a theme of belonging to something, belonging to someone, belonging to a group bigger to yourself that almost makes it feel like family, giving you the love that you might have not gotten from other people that made you an outcast. Now, whether the society pushed them out first or they pushed the society, it's always a toss-up with whoever pushed first, which is why Windbreaker makes no sense. But when the main character is first introduced, drumming up his traumatic backstory, and it just boils down to this man didn't dye his hair and wear contact. That's all it was. People made fun of his hair and eyes, and this nigga could not handle it.
Man, there you go with that bullshit.
He could not handle the discrimination because of his hair and eyes. Like, bro, all he had to do was just dye his hair and wear contact, but that's too much. Like, people have real problems and you can't just dye your hair. You gotta, I can't really blame it. Everyone gotta start a dramatic backstory from something, but this not it, man. As soon as I heard that backstory, I immediately want to drop it.
Wow, this is garbage.
But luckily, my friend who was already ahead of me said, yo, hold on, lock in, because this series is lit. And luckily I locked in because Windbreaker season 1 was good. Passing that backstory of the main character is all hands, but it also made me open, like, how is it other characters have a better backstory than you and you're the main character? He is like the focal point, the connection to every person's trauma. Now imagine like Naruto said, oh, I'm alone because nobody invited me to their birthday parties, even though he still has 2 parents who loves him, he has a home and that type of shit. Like, I'm alone because nobody invited me to my birthday party. Like, you would feel some type of way. You would feel that is probably the most lamest reason to be an outcast ever. Now, mind you, it does feel bad to be discriminated against because of something that you have no, permanent control over. Sure, he could have dyed his hair and wear contacts, but he shouldn't have. It shouldn't be that he needed to. They should be able to accept him. But still, it's still the dumbest reason. And obviously, like, you got to this point, he moved to a totally new city just to find a different place to fit in. Like, bro, was there no other steps? Like, bro, there are anime clubs, anime weebs, otakus that you probably could, VTubers that you could probably fit in as. Was there nothing? I feel like this is a big ass step or overreach for a response like this. It's like when Vegeta says, oh, he's so cool, but it's so dumb when learning about OG's Broly backstory.
Kakarot! 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 See, he's slow and he gets it. I suggest
this man turned into a whole villain whenever Kakarot is mentioned, all because he heard Kakarot's crying. Granted, I mean, he was crying a lot. I mean, it's a valid reason to crash out. I mean, I hate crying on a baby crying on a plane, but to be a whole villain, like, damn. But season 1 was still the perfect season, the best season for the series, because it still follows the story of the delinquent trope. 2 rival gangs on 2 opposite sides of the city, each with their own reason for being a gang or delinquent, belonging to a group to be something more than themselves. And as lame as it was good to see the connection between the main characters to other characters and their own backstories and their own character arcs. How the main character can see 2 sides of the same coin of the person he wants to be and the person he was before he became who he is. But it's also confusing how the author has this weird sidestep, tiptoe, hopscotch way of dealing with the story in the first season. How they're a gang, but they're a gang that protects the town. Like, how are you a gang then? Just say you're a normal school, but by definition and by actual reasoning, their school is still classified as a gang school or delinquent school, which makes no sense. How are these people, mind you, the school was a gang and delinquent school, but after a change in regime in the top dog, it became more calmed down, more peaceful. Even the whole city loves them. So how are they still a gang? Also, because it's still a gang school, because it's a common trope with when it's a delinquent school, like it's a delinquent, every student is a delinquent, you will almost never see a teacher. mature ever. And you don't in this series, which is another crazy thing. There are no adults in the school at all. I haven't seen one. So what are these people learning? They're just, so basically the school is a hangout spot. It doesn't function as a school anymore. But these dudes still wake up and go to class like it's a part of their schedule, like you got to. And it's like somehow they're still able to graduate. And do what? I don't know. Though this is all in hindsight, because the first season is so good, you won't really pay attention to it as the story is happening. But season 2 is where things really start to not make sense, because how is it gangs are starting to pop up like whack-a-moles, with their own brand of colors and team, team jackets, like they all have fit on. It was my thought, if you had a team jacket, then you was well established. But now it seems like a new popped up team can just put on any fit and boom, they're a gang now. And to me, it seems like in Windbreakers, being a gang is like a power system. This series is classified as a shonen, and I'm gonna assume the gang is a power system for this series. Sort of like Advance Wars. But again, it's another gang the size of an entire school. More than 50 people, or maybe I'm exaggerating, 20 people, like an entire class year just out and about. No adults, no police, they just roaming the streets. No respect for the outside world. And there is nothing. There's no curfew, there's no barricades or restrictions. Most of it feels like it's just by word of mouth. We just have to take the author's word for it that these people are gangs, and the city is just okay with it, which makes season 2 make even less sense, because now gangs are popping up like clockwork. Because now you have one gang that just got wiped, and then another gang get introduced, and then we see you go to another part of the town, the red light district, and there's another gang, all self-employed volunteers for being a gang. And the author is like, feels so bad at execution, because he is like, he wants to be serious, but he still wants to be Sesame Street with the series, to be as casual and more open-minded as possible, even introducing an alphabet character who you can't pinpoint down one letter. It feels like a checkbox for all the letters in one character. And this one character is who introduced the adult section of the series, the red light district. But then it's like the most goofiest shit ever. You're in a place called the red light district, but there's nothing red light about it. It's a flea market. It's a street flea market. It's basically like the street in Yakuza, where you're walking down through the alley and everything is a shop. In that case, why call it a red light district? This is what I'm talking about. Author wants to hip hop between being serious and being shonen, or maybe it's because the magazine he's in, so he's being restricted, but still, know your lane. It feels like it's trying to recapture what Tokyo Revengers was trying to do, trying to have a lighthearted story somewhat in the beginning, while also increasing the tension and stakes for the characters in the game, but somehow doing it worse. Like, say what you want about Tokyo Revengers if you watched or didn't watch it, but for a good run, it was good. Like, it was good. Like, it was something people tune in every week to read or watch. It was that delinquent manga. For some, it was their first delinquent manga or Yankee manga, but it had something. It had something in the beginning that truly felt special, that doesn't feel like another can recreate. But Windbreaker just feels like it just keeps failing at trying to do that, and that's what it makes no sense for me. This whole system of the town, every town has a gang, and every gang has a town. And on top of that, one of the gangs had a town where it's completely lawless. So they say, like, from their description and imagery, it looks like this is like Detroit. Like, this is like Detroit from a dystopian look. There are out of business signs, fire, garbage, nothing but abandoned warehouses and homes and all that. And it's like, how is this real? And this is probably all in one city, mind you, it's just a block over. But maybe I'm being too harsh on the series itself. Me being personally a fan of the delinquent genre, like Out, the Bouncer, Pros, or even just the aesthetic of being a delinquent itself, like Holy Land, or even if it's just the character themselves, like Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho, Boston High School, or Darko. This character, this genre, it speaks to you in a way where you just want to air out your frustration on what you are angry about society, to lash out your anger and be strong if you're outcasted, because you know you'll find your own group. But Windbreakers just has a terrible time of going it. Maybe I'm being too stringent, and maybe I'm just not being fair to the series itself. But I don't know. What you think?